Have you ever wondered why some people find it easy to save money while others struggle? The answer often lies in our spending habits, which are shaped by a fascinating mix of psychology, environment, and personal history. These habits are not simply about willpower. They are deeply ingrained behaviors that develop over time, often without us even realizing it. Understanding their origins is the first step toward gaining clarity on our own financial actions. Our earliest encounters with money play a significant role. Many of our core beliefs about finance are formed during childhood, long before we earned our first paycheck. Observing our parents or guardians is a primary source of learning. If money was openly discussed, budgeted, and managed with care, a child might grow up viewing it as a tool to be handled responsibly. Conversely, if money was a source of constant stress, secrecy, or conflict in the household, a child might develop anxiety or avoidance behaviors around financial matters. These early lessons, whether explicit or implicit, create a foundational script that guides our financial decisions later in life. A household that used cash for purchases might instill a tangible sense of money's value, whereas one reliant on credit cards might normalize the idea of delayed payment and debt. As we move into adolescence and young adulthood, our social environment begins to exert a powerful influence. The desire to fit in with peers can lead to what is known as social spending. This involves making purchases to keep up with the perceived lifestyles of friends or social groups. The rise of social media has amplified this effect, creating a constant stream of curated images showcasing vacations, new gadgets, and trendy clothes. This digital exposure can create a perceived standard of living that feels necessary to attain. Even if it is financially unsustainable, the pressure is subtle but persistent, and it can shape spending priorities, favoring immediate social gratification over long-term financial goals. This isn't a conscious decision to overspend, but rather an unconscious drive to maintain social standing and belonging. Psychological factors are also a key component in the formation of spending habits. Our individual personalities and emotional states can heavily influence our financial behaviors. For some, shopping provides a temporary mood boost, a phenomenon often called retail therapy. When feeling stressed, sad, or bored, a purchase can trigger a release of dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical, creating a short-lived sense of happiness and control. Over time, this can evolve into a conditioned response, where the impulse to spend becomes a default coping mechanism for negative emotions. Other psychological traits, such as impulsivity or a preference for immediate gratification over delayed rewards, also play a crucial role. A person who prioritizes the present moment might find it more difficult to save for a distant future, as the immediate pleasure of a purchase outweighs the abstract benefit of a future security. The broader economic and cultural context we live in adds another layer to this complex picture. The very structure of our modern economy is designed to encourage consumption. Advertising is ubiquitous, employing sophisticated psychological techniques to create desire for products and services. Marketing messages often link purchases to identity, happiness, and success. Additionally, the widespread availability of credit makes it easier than ever to spend money we don't have. Buy now, pay later services, credit cards with tempting reward programs, and easily accessible personal loans remove the immediate friction of a purchase. This easy access to credit can obscure the true cost of our consumption, making it harder to maintain a clear picture of our financial reality and encouraging a cycle of spending and debt. Cognitive biases, or systematic errors in thinking, also shape our spending decisions in ways we rarely notice. One common bias is the sunk cost fallacy, where we continue to invest time or money into something like a subscription or a membership, simply because we've already paid for it, even if we no longer derive value from it. Another is the anchoring effect, where our perception of a price is influenced by the first piece of information we receive. A sale price of $100 seems like a great deal if the original price was listed at $200, regardless of the item's actual worth. Mental accounting is another bias where people treat money differently depending on its source. For example, a tax refund or a small bonus might be seen as found money and spent frivolously, whereas the same amount from a regular paycheck would be treated with more care. These mental shortcuts simplify decision-making but can lead to irrational financial choices. Finally, personal life experiences and significant life events serve as powerful catalysts for shaping or reshaping our spending habits. A period of financial hardship, such as a job loss, can instill a deep-seated sense of frugality and a strong desire for an emergency fund. On the other hand, a sudden windfall, like an inheritance, could lead to a dramatic shift, toward more lavish spending, if not managed with a pre-existing financial framework. Major life transitions such as moving out for the first time, getting married, or having children all introduce new financial responsibilities and force us to adapt our habits. Each of these experiences provides powerful feedback, reinforcing certain behaviors and discouraging others. A negative experience with debt might lead to a lifelong aversion to credit, while a successful experience with saving for a large purchase can build confidence and reinforce positive habits. In essence, our spending habits are not formed in a vacuum. They are a mosaic, assembled from pieces of our childhood, social pressures, psychological tendencies, cultural environment, and personal life journey. Each purchase we make is influenced by this intricate backstory, a complex web of factors that operate mostly beneath the surface of our conscious thought. Recognizing these diverse influences is a fundamental aspect of financial literacy. It allows for a more objective observation of one's own financial behavior. Moving beyond simple judgments of being good or bad with money, by understanding the roots of these habits, it becomes possible to see them not as fixed character traits, but as learned behaviors that were shaped by a lifetime of unique circumstances and influences.